Hello and welcome back to AEF TV in association with Engerati. We're joined now in the studio, and you may have seen a previous interview we did last year. I can't believe it's been a year, Karin. Well, welcome to the studio. Karin Breytenbach from the Republic of South Africa, Department of Energy. And Karin, we're talking a little bit off air about what's going on in Africa, but also in particular, in an earlier interview, some of the mega trends that were being pulled out in terms of things like co-generation and the interconnectivity between countries and those conversations. Just to kick the interview off, there's been a huge renewables program in Africa, and that's going to continue, and that's going to keep rolling, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. We are now heading for between the 4, and as we've discussed last time, I think we were busy closing between the 2. We had
That's
between the 3 in August of last year, and we're now closing between the 3. We had a 3.5 just on on CSP, and we're now heading to between the 4. So basically, we've got almost 4,000 megawatts of renewables, and only in 3 years.
That's pretty impressive. And with the renewables, that's being utilized full time, and that's offsetting some of the carbon resources and things like that. Is it as agile as that, or is there still work to be done?
No, there's still a lot of work to be done. I mean, we're very much a coal-driven economy, but yes, with the program, we are basically catching up, and we will run a annual program for the next few years. What we're also hoping is that there will be a lot of manufacturing coming from the renewable energy program. So we do have manufacturers in South Africa, and we hope that they will also export to the rest of Africa.
Right, gotcha. And to move on from that, to bring it all a bit up to date, one of the things that you were talking about, and you touched on it just there, was the co-generation program, and then also what I'm quite keen to explore is some of the ties you're making with other countries to set up this sort of grid where resources from different areas are being not shared, but I mean you've got a market agreement.
Yeah. I mean the interesting part of it is we have got a determination from the Minister of Energy for 2,600 megawatts of imported hydro. So we're obviously looking at Inga 3 and the DRC, and
now
also
is Inga going to happen?
Well, I really hope so.
I'm reasonably fresh with it, but I remember last year when I talked to people about it, they were like, "Oh, Inga again."
Yeah.
Like
No. I think we've done a lot of work the last sort of 6 to 8 months. The DRC is working very hard to pull that project together. We've got all the big DFIs involved. I mean, we had a discussion yesterday with the European Investment Bank, the IFC, and African Development Bank. So I really think there's some traction. I really hope the project will get off the ground. It will be a big game changer in the Southern African environment, and it's really an exciting project. I mean, obviously it's not going to come easily, but sure. I think if you've got the right people there with willingness to make it work, I think it can happen. And I know people don't necessarily believe it, but you know what? It's all going to be us making it work or let it go.
Well, I think also some of the political stuff has calmed down a little bit in Congo as well, hasn't it? So that also helps.
Yeah, and I mean, we had the State of the Nation, you know, we had elections during May, and there was State of the Nation last night, and Inga was in the State of the Nation, specifically pointed out as a project, a cross-border project that we would like to engage on, and we have signed a treaty with the DRC. So I think there's a lot of traction
there's a lot of
happening.
Traction, a lot of
and I mean it's really an important project, and it will mean a lot to South Africa and the Southern African region.
Yeah, because it seems to me that what is happening is a desire to create a real mix within the energy sector. Because the other thing you were talking to me about off air was the gas question, and so just tell me a little bit more about that.
I mean, you also know that Mozambique has got a lot of gas. And we obviously hope that we can speak to our neighbour. We are busy doing a gas utilisation master plan for South Africa, and what we are looking as the needs for gas in the country versus where we can get the gas from. And we've got a few excellent consultants working on our side of the border. And and we also have got a determination for gas-fired IPPs. So it all works together, I think.
Yeah, so that looking at gas, is that about, again, you know, it was reported in the news where, you know, a lot of the base load is coming from coal, and unfortunately the coal got wet, and that kind of created a bit of an issue. Where you know, it happens, but it highlights probably an issue where there's an over-reliance on one thing, and that's where gas can kind of step in to create that balance, because you need stuff that's going to ramp as well, don't you? All the renewables are great, but
yeah, and I think the intermittency of renewables obviously is an issue. If you can balance the system with a gas-fired program, I think you've got a real winner there. Obviously, what we have seen with renewables is that if you bring in competition, the prices are going down substantially.
You mentioned that the last time we
we've achieved a lot in that space. Yeah.
And when you get the price points down, and it's another discussion that we've had, and I'm constructing my thought on the fly, one of the things that was mentioned to me is that as you start getting the price points down for renewables, you need to start to reward other types of energy generation in a different way. You need to reward the fact that the gas turbine can ramp when renewables can't.
Yes.
And that needs to be put into the pricing and the market dynamics. How are you guys thinking about that?
I mean, I think, well, let me first just take one step back. What we have seen with renewables, and it's a very interesting profile that's busy developing. In the mornings, the wind blows. During the day, you've got the sunshine and extremely good resources, and in the afternoon, the wind blows again. So during the day, it's almost like a base load profile that we are seeing in South Africa. Obviously, there will be times when the wind doesn't blow, and I mean, hopefully, the sun will always shine in our country. But but I think you need gas to ramp up quickly and ramp down again. The issue right now is we do not have gas. There's seemingly a lot of shale gas and offshore. It looks like that there may be good prospects, but currently we don't have. So what we are looking at is currently LNG bringing in.
So you're going to import the gas?
Yes, for now. And we're also looking at maybe a pipeline from Mozambique. Obviously, we haven't done all the studies and we're not sure whether it will make sense, but we're in that process with a gas utilisation master plan to determine which is the best option for South Africa.
And that goes back to that creating that mix of all the different things. Yeah. In terms of renewables, and I'm conscious we're jumping around a little bit, I'm asking this question because it's been covered a lot. It's very du jour in the press in terms of energy storage, various different methodologies, but by and large batteries, and then you've got power to gas or something like that. Have there been any pilots within South Africa within that sort of energy storage framework, or?
Not yet, not for wind and solar, but we have done more work on the concentrating solar, the CSP. What we have done is between the 1 we had just a price, between the 2 and 3 what we did is we ramped up to use it more as a peaking power. Right. So we've got a day, and we call it a standard price, and then during a night peaking hours, it ramps up by, I think it's 2.7 times your day tariff, which obviously, if you compare that with diesel that we are currently running for peaking power, it compares really favorably. So we did that also to encourage a storage in CSP.
In CSP.
Yeah.
So how many CSP projects? Is it just the one at the moment?
No. We've got 3, 5, 6. We've got already 6 plus another 2 that we're going to announce very soon.
So when you look a little bit long term, I think we're a way off a country having 100% decarbonized energy. I think what everybody's going for is a more efficient mix. So, where do you think the balance is, in your opinion, the sort of optimal mix? I'm not sure in the short term we're going to get rid of carbon-based fuels, but what do you see as the optimal?
You know what, in our environment, I think we've got really some of the best sunshine and wind in the world. So my view is if you can mix or couple it with something like gas, you've got an optimal way of running your system. Obviously, there are the people who believe in coal as a baseload, and in South Africa, we've got abundance of coal. So I don't think we will ever be without coal, but we are definitely looking at other ways to use the coal. I mean, we're running, and we're going to release very soon the baseload coal program for IPPs, and included in there is underground coal gasification, as well as coal bed methane. So we are looking at other things, not the normal standard coal.
And this is the other thing about coal, isn't it? It's how you burn it.
Yes.
Gives a different level of efficiency from, because in the traditional way of effectively you're stoking a fire engine or
with
a
lots
train,
of emissions
so that's interesting. So when's that going to happen? When's that program?
Well, we hope to release the documents in July. We are going to have a registration process, so we're going to ask the private sector to register their projects with us, so that should happen very early in July. And maybe still in June, but no, I think it's going to be definitely in July. And then, and the reason why we are doing that is with coal, with base load, it's your connection is very different to the grid from doing it with renewables. So we would like to see where the projects are, and then make sure that they can connect, and that we have got transmission and distribution lines in place to make sure that the projects can commit as and when they are ready to commit.
Okay, and so we're coming to the end of our time, so I'm just going to, I think, naturally go on to another last question, and you've just touched on it. It's just like it's about how certain things are connected to the grid, and that interconnectivity that then gives you the ability to do demand response and joining it all up. How far do you think is South Africa in terms of that intelligent grid that can sort of, because that's really the secret sauce, isn't it? If you join it all up, then the technology makes it all efficient and balances it all out. Where are we with that?
I still believe a little bit behind, but we hope to catch up. I mean, there's a lot of new thinking in the government. Last night's State of the Nation mentioned the independent system and market operator and the legislation around that. So I think we are ready to take that next step and move forward. And if we don't do it, I think we're going to still struggle for a while. Yeah,
and it's like any complex system. Humans can't be there shuffling it around. We gotta use the tech to join it up.
No, exactly. Like yeah. And I mean, you need the grid. It's your highway. If you don't have the grid, you don't have a highway. So. Well,
I'm looking forward to another year on and having the update. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of our time. As ever, I feel we could go on and on, but you've got other things to do.
Thank you very
and,
much.
And we've got people waiting, but thank you as ever joining us. And I'd like to thank you as well for watching. And this has been another interview for AEF TV in association with Engerati. The other thing I want to say is that as a collaborative exercise between Engerati and EnergyNet, the organisers of Africa Energy Forum, we will be launching a Powering Africa hub where all the content from these great events is pulled into one space for people to connect and share and collaborate and learn from each other online as well as live like this. So Karin, once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.